The Nikki Glaser Podcast. The Nikki Glaser Podcast.
Here's Nikki. Hello, here I am. Happy New Year, everyone. It's been a while. It's been so long. I forgot I had a podcast.
It's been a while.
It's been a while since I have recorded a podcast with my friends. It's been a while since I've talked to Andrew. I mean, honestly, Noah and I usually text, and that's how we stay in touch when we're not doing the podcast. And sometimes we talk, but mostly it's text. And Andrew, when we're not doing the podcast, I live with you and I'm traveling with you, and we're constantly in communication. I have not talked to you at all.
Radio silence. Pretty much radio silence, yeah.
I mean, maybe we've sent each other one text every 5 days or something. And I haven't seen you since before Christmas.
I saw you in between me seeing Brenna's parents and then me going to Florida for like an hour.
We had a little bit of, like an hour of a hang. So it's been a while. I'm in Los Angeles. Andrew is in St. Louis.
Thing?
Yeah, it's been a while. Mahalo. Fuck. I just had
you
dyslexia.
learned a lot.
Mahalo is thank you.
Aloha.
Bill Maher had a joke. I was with Bill Maher.
Bill Malo?
In Bill Mahalo in Hawaii. And he had a good joke that was like, aloha in Hawaii is hello or goodbye. And mahalo in Hawaii is thank you or fuck you.
I like it, Bill. So
like
tell me all right, let's get into Hawaii, shall we?
Why don't we do like each get to ask burning desire questions for each other about each other's trips.
I have so much shit that happened. It's like wild. Like I don't even know where to start. But
wait, why don't we do instead of questions, why don't we do the top 3 things of note, each of us, and that includes you, Noah, because I'm not you were living life too.
Okay.
So let's go round robin.
So there's top 3, no bottom 3.
No, we gotta do. Let's do a top 1, bottom 1. Vacation. Boom.
Top 3,
that'll
bottom
get us
3,
into
vacation.
it. No. Top 1, bottom 1. Vacation, and we're doing this just on the fly.
Okay.
Let's start. We always start with bottom. I hate to start on a negative note for the new year, but it feels like, we're going to end on a positive note. So we're really starting off on a good one. It is 2022. I'm feeling 22. And you want to get on?
Oh, yeah. Feeling 20. I've been listening to a lot of Taylor. I can't escape Taylor, by the way, because Brenna's a fucking Taylor head. But that's not my bottom.
Hold on. No, before we get to the top 1, bottom 1, now I'm getting distracted because you bring up Taylor, and I can't just let that slide. What song is now in your head mostly? Which one are you really feeling right now? Because like most Taylor Swift heads, and by the way, I've done a lot of Swiftie concerts over the break with my dad, and then I took a hiatus, and then yesterday I went live on our Instagram and had a little fun, and a lot of comments saying like, I wasn't a Swiftie until you, Nikki. Thank you for getting me into her. I want to just warn you, if you're breaking into Swiftie, if you're becoming a new Swiftie, you're going to have romances with different songs that you hear upon first listen, you go, I'm never even going to care about the song. And then all of a sudden one day it hits you like a freight train, and you can't get it out of your head, and you go, this is my favorite song. So the other day, Chris, my lover, was like, he sometimes puts on Taylor Swift just to get me in a good mood. Like if I'm in a bad mood, he'll just put it on. You do that too, Andrew. Everyone in my life who knows and loves me knows to do that. And he was like, he has some favorite Taylor Swift songs, which I'm like so excited about because he hasn't told me that. He's like, actually 1989 is like kind of it's a fucking great album, and he's really into a couple songs. I'm like, oh my God, tell me which ones you love. And he goes, I feel kind of embarrassed like that sometimes if I put on a song, like you're going to be a Taylor Swift song, you're going to be like, oh, this one sucks. And I'm like, oh, there's no song we don't love. And he goes, I love how you say we, and you're talking about Swifties. And that's really how I feel about being a Swiftie, is like, we all agree there's no bad songs. There's just ones we don't like as much as the others, but we love them all. So That being said, Andrew, what is your new favorite Taylor Swift song?
Top one Taylor Swift song is no. The one that I've heard a lot is Dorothea. Dorothea.
That's Brenna's.
Yes.
Hey,
so that's the one I hear.
Dorothea, do you ever stop and think about me?
About me.
Do you know what's about Selena Gomez, allegedly?
It's weird because Brenna says when she hears that song, she thinks of me. So maybe my kidneys are failing.
Dorothea. It's about her friend who is like famous now, and like it's not really about. It's like, sorry, you know what?
Dorothea is Dorothea the female name for Andrew?
Is it? No,
Is
it's
there- what?
Andrea.
And Andrea. Okay, sorry, forgot about that name.
Dorothea.
Whoa.
Oh my God, you're so cute, Noah. 1 million people died in 9/11.
That
Sorry,
I think that's
Jen.
gonna be the new like. You're so off, but that was a great attempt.
Okay,
Like
thanks.
that's we just say 1 million people died in 9/11.
I just thought Drew, Dorothea. I don't know
You know
why
what?
that came together.
You're not wrong, and sometimes it is like that weird of a original word. So Dorothea though is anyway. It's a great song. It's on
Like the male
Evermore.
name for Nikki is Dave. Right?
You're right. That is the original. It's the Gaelic version of Nicole. Andrew, so Dorothy. Okay, you're listening to Dorothy a lot. Okay, tell me your top, or tell me your bottom moment of your trip. That
This is heavy.
You know, you can. Oh, okay.
We're starting
Noah,
heavy.
are you ready to carry this heaviness?
I think so.
I'm pretty sure
Okay.
Brenna and I saw a man die on New Year's, and it wasn't even dark yet.
Okay.
So
Well, I do know that you on Instagram had said that I read at 1 p.m. my time Hawaii that you were already in bed. You had saw a man throw up into a trash
no,
can, and
Brenna
you said,
threw up because she saw him
"Oh
die.
yes." Oh my God, she threw
That's
up
what
from seeing a man
happened?
die.
It was wild. You want me to tell you the story?
Oh my God, yes.
Okay, so we were in West Palm Beach.
Wait, let's
It
get back
was-
to Taylor Swift. I'm just kidding.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
that made
I
me
can't-
throw up in the garbage.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're listening to Taylor, and this guy gets shot in the face. No, I'm just
Oh my
playing.
God.
Just kidding. No,
Just kidding.
no. So it's New Year's Eve. We were just gonna go over to my brother's. I was like, you know what? Let's go get appetizers and hang out outside and look over the water and actually enjoy Florida a little bit, because there was a lot of stress with my mom. A lot of this, whatever. There were a lot of ups and downs from the trip. I take her to this bar that I used to go to where I used to throw up all the time and, get kicked out of. And it was called Bradley's. And
Oh, did we lose him?
Yeah, we just lost him. While we're getting Andrew back, maybe we can keep this in. What do you think they saw? How do you think this man died? Predictions.
Heart attack. Just like instant.
I think I don't think that would make her cry. I think it's something gruesome. And he did say that we were listening to Taylor Swift and then a man got shot in the face. And I think he was joking, but I also think he's not capable of coming up with something that fast that didn't happen. So I think they saw someone get shot in the face.
You think,
I
so
hope
you think it was
not.
truth.
I hope not.
Or maybe get hit by a truck.
It's got to
that
be
would make
something
someone throw
gruesome. Have you ever seen someone get like a gruesome human body thing?
Not a human. I saw a kitten get run over by a car.
Oh, that's
It
somehow
traumatized me.
worse. Oh, wait, when?
You really want the story?
Yeah.
It's pretty gruesome. I was
Trigger warning. People can skip ahead.
okay. I was driving and I was several feet away from the car in front of me, and I saw a kitten run into the street right under the tire of the car, and only its head got smushed.
No.
It because of the spine and stuff, it jumped up and just died.
So it died instantly.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
But the body was still moving.
Dude, whenever I see an animal run out, I
My heart stops. Does
oh,
yours?
Oh, it's. I mean, anyone, but you rarely see it. I mean, I hit a man with a car one time, which is a story for another time. Twice actually, I've hit a man with a car. But Andrew, we're trying to guess what you saw.
Oh, when you went in reverse?
Dude, that's so funny. That's so funny, and it reminds me of your friend Diamond.
It's the same joke. I thought of the same thing. I love your brain. What you call it? Sorry,
That's the
internet.
old Diamond. He says it once when he goes over. If you don't know, Andrew worked with a guy named Diamond that was from Nepal, I believe.
Yeah, and he said if you hit a man with your car, you want to reverse back over his body, making him full dead, because then you have to pay the medical bills his whole life.
Yeah, so
And
you
I'm
might
like,
as well
that's
kill
murder.
him. Yeah, but
I go,
you
"That's
have a better
murder."
chance of getting off for murder. And apparently in Manhattan, the best way to get away with murder in the United States is to hit a pedestrian with your car in Manhattan and murder, purposely do it, but you'll never be found at fault because everyone gets away with it in Manhattan, which is where I got hit by a car, but it's not where I hit a man with my car. I've told that story many times on different things and probably on this podcast. But okay, Andrew, we took guesses as to what.
I'm sorry that it went
No,
out.
not
When
as
did
to
it
what
went-
happened to you. We're guessing how the man died. Noah said a heart attack. I said Brenna probably wouldn't have thrown up from seeing a heart attack. I think shot in the face because you had made a joke about listening to Taylor Swift and seeing him and get shot in the face. So I'm guessing you just went with the thing that actually happened. So am I correct? Because I believe Noah there's no way that one is.
I love the my creativity knows
One
instead
bound.
of one bound. Yeah.
Am I right?
No.
Oh, damn it. Okay. No, I actually don't think you're creative.
He got shot in the face twice.
Oh, God. Diamond. A million people died in 9/11. Okay. What happened?
Okay, Dorothea. So this is what happened. So I took Brenna to the bar called Bradley's. It was like 4 p.m. We were just gonna get a drink and some food. Overlooked the water. We ended up leaving there because it was too crowded. We go next door, get food. I come back. I valeted my car. Okay? I'm going to get my valet. I give the guy my ticket. I'm waiting for the car, and I look over.
Did you valet your car? Did you fly down there or did you drive?
I rented a car.
Got it.
So we see this guy, and he's like, you know that like look where your eyes, they're just seeing through you. He's sweaty. He's
Florida meth man eyes.
Yeah, but not meth, but more alcohol and coke.
Yeah.
But that same feeling.
Yeah.
And but he looks like a normal guy. Like he's not like
Dressed normally.
a homeless guy.
His shoes are both on and tied.
Yeah, well, one's tied, one's Velcro.
Okay.
One bound. So I look over at Brenna and I go, dude, look how fucking this guy's gonna get his car. He's so fucking drunk. So we like took time to like look and analyze how drunk this guy was.
Do
So we
nothing
like had a
to actually
connection.
prevent him getting in his car.
Yeah, I thought I would have to help him up, but because he had a high truck. So anyway, so I'm waiting for him one bound, and he starts to walk off into the parking lot, and he goes to grab like a white cone to like hold himself up, and the cone is like obviously not strong enough to hold him up. He throws his drink and he falls backwards and he hits the back of his head. And I didn't even think he fell. He fell like comically slow, I thought.
Yeah.
And blood starts gushing out of the back, like just like out of a movie, like leaking like a river.
A pool.
Just,
Is he moving?
he's dead. He's out. Like, so this woman goes, so
How
in a
far are you
weird-
away from this man?
This is the thing. I was only about 10 feet from him. I could have maybe caught the guy. I think.
Oh, that sucks, man. I'm sorry.
So he's bleeding out. My car comes. I'm like, can you move him a little so I can leave?
I love how
Like,
you already have this punched up. Okay, keep going.
So that's literally the only punchline, I swear. So then
No, it's not.
But no, I swear. But part of me was like, should I just can I drive around this guy? Is it bad? Is it bad? Karma? Is it bad? A bad look?
Wait, you gotta tell me, like, are people around him?
So I'm telling you. So I'm getting there. So I elect not to get the car. I think I'm going to run up to him. A woman runs up before me, checks his pulse, and goes, he has no pulse. He has no pulse. Call 911. He has no pulse. Bleeding out his head, out.
How old
right?
is this man?
Probably 45, I'm thinking. So another guy runs up, starts giving him CPR
This
to
is
the
a
chest.
parking lot?
Yeah, in the parking lot in front of Bradley's on New Year's Eve. So like, this is before the party even starts. Like people won't even know this happened, before, which is crazy. So, guy starts giving him CPR. Brenna starts crying hysterically, yelling like, "Look at the blood! I can't." I go, get away. Like it was like this whole like thing.
Dramatic.
So she goes around the corner, right? I decide that, okay, this guy's got CPR. Like, I don't need to give him whatever CPR. I go to, tell Brennan to stop being a pussy. No, I'm just kidding. That's another punch. But that was just a random punch.
I knew it wasn't good. I know it was random. But listen, how do punches come to be?
So I punch Brenna. So no. And then I do a line of coke. Anyways, so she's throwing up in the trash can, like dry heaving, like so loud. And I'm like, babe, it's okay. I think he's gonna be all right. I think I heard someone say he might have a pulse. And then I was trying.
Are you lying?
No, I did hear that from. I walked to her, then I walked back, and then I came back again. So she's throwing up. People are walking by, and I have to tell people, look, she saw a dead body. She's not drunk. Like, I'm not taking advantage. Like, I felt like weird in a way. Like, people were judging her.
Yeah.
And I wanted to protect her. Then this guy, I swear to God, this is the weirdest part of the story. A guy who's like a street cleaner who works for the city comes up and goes, what's going on with her? And I go, she's not drunk. A guy fell over there and he's out cold and they think he's dead and they have to revive him. And she saw it and she's throwing up. And I swear to God, the guy looks at me and goes, that happened to me 3 weeks ago.
What? I mean,
So then-
Florida.
Listen, so then he starts showing a video that was from the security cam of him falling over and dying on the ground. I swear to God on my life. Brett, I go, she's throwing up from a guy that just died. She doesn't need to see another guy that died.
He was showing her?
Yeah, me and her. While she's throwing up, she's looking up going, bleh. Oh my God, what? Ah. I'm like, sir, get out. I'm sorry about your death, but get out of here. So then I go back and they said he has a pulse and they end up taking him away in the ambulance. Hopefully he lived. I Googled it and then I drove away in the valet. Still probably too early, but it was. So then the whole night, I had to, like, the car ride was intense. Like, she was really shook up.
Yeah.
And then, we played Dorothea, which is the other name for Andrew, and had a great time, Okay.
Oh, my God.
Oh, it was wild. It was wild.
Isn't it wild? Like, everyone that you see walking around will die someday. Like, we're pretty much seeing future dead people constantly. But, and everyone will die, but we so rarely witness it in a way like that.
It was intense. I had to convince myself, like, oh, I've seen people get hit. Like, you do a weird mental gymnastics in your head to make it not as extreme.
Like, this is like MMA, but with, like, Dustin Poirier's fist is the concrete.
I swear to God, that, like, kind of went in my mind.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Celsius. Yeah.
Or, like, I was thinking about, like, a guy that goes to war and sees shit.
Yeah,
and then
comes back shell-shocked and...
to Nebraska with no phone and just has to think about it on a porch.
Oh my God.
Wild. Anyways.
Wild.
Sorry.
No TikTok to distract. I mean, that is people. I mean, I've been on Reddit before and people have said, like, they share things of like, what's the most horrific thing that's you've ever witnessed? And it's people share things like this. And there was a Sam Harris interview that I listened to, or he was on, did a podcast with Ricky Gervais that I listened to, and he was talking about seeing someone in I think like Bangladesh get, like, he saw the aftermath of a guy gets like splattered everywhere and people were throwing up from how, like, and it was the worst thing he's ever seen in his life. And like people like there's listeners right now thinking of the thing that they saw that made them. I've never gotten viscerally sick though from seeing carnage. Noah, did the kitten incident? We talked about something Noah witnessed. I don't want to relive it, but have you ever gotten ill from something that you didn't think would make you ill?
Not really. I can't really think of anything.
Yeah, it happens obviously because especially another human being, you just like the shock of seeing life being able to like be taken so quickly. I mean,
I think I thought of like because I've been to that bar hundreds of times,
that
and
could have been you.
Yeah, there. I know it's like a selfish kind of way to think of it, but then it makes me think like, oh, I quit drinking 3 years like that.
Yeah.
I easily could have been that guy
I
a
saw
few years ago.
some article about a guy who jumped a turnstile in, Queens or something, and he just tripped a little bit and hit his head and died right there just from hitting his head. And the people in the Reddit subreddit were talking about how like how the human body can be so fragile yet so durable. Like there are people that have survived like plane crashes, yet there are other people that like trip and hit their head and it's like good night. So it's just it's so scary. I'm sorry you witnessed that. Is Brenna okay?
Yeah, she's all right. She's all right. I mean, luckily we had sex before that because
Oh my God.
it would have been tough.
For her to throw up twice that day.
Reverse.
Diamond. Am drip. Okay. How about we go to break really quick? Okay, we're back. Noah, what was your worst thing of your time off?
Nothing like Andrew's. I actually had a really good time off, so it's hard to think of it, but I guess I have a group of friends here that we all spend time together, and we always get together as a group, but one of the couple now is going through a really messy divorce. So just having to navigate the two friendships and, like one of them is ousted from the group, and Avi and I are really good friends with this person, so it's just really complicated.
Yes. And
What do you do with that? Like when you get ousted, I mean that's gotta like why do you pick the woman or the man? Did you pick?
I think you pick the person who you feel closest to.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll say this.
That's true.
I
But-
hear both
the
sides, and
Sorry.
I can relate to the woman more because I've been in the position that she's in, and like where that anger comes from. But what I hear from the guy is that is a little bit more sensible and like neutral. So when you hear one person gossiping or whatever, and the group is trying to comfort them, and then you hear the other side of the person who's being vilified, and they're not really, it's relationships go bad. There's more to the story than what each person is saying.
Yes.
It's just it just sucks. So
That book Attached, I keep reading it and I'm learning how so many relationships are doomed and people don't even know it because they're opposite attachment styles, and there's truly no hope for those people. They're always they will always be miserable, and they'll stay together and be miserable forever, and constantly going on this roller coaster of good and bad, or they're gonna break up unless they become aware of it and really worked. And it's even if you work at it, it's kind of nearly impossible, is what I'm learning from this book. It's pretty interesting and a little bit demoralizing, but as a woman who like isn't locked into anything right now, it's eye-opening, and it makes me feel like, oh good, I'm glad I got to read this book before I made any final decisions about my life, because this book has just helped me so much, and it's really helped me make decisions that I honestly would have never thought that I would make, that are ultimately going to be the best ones, I think, because I'm just seeing myself in this book so much in places that I almost skip the chapter because I go, I'm not going to be this. And then I start reading it and I'm like, oh my God, I'm this. It's very interesting. No, I'm continuing to read it. Like you said, I'm not going to just do a third of it.
good.
And I love it. And I'm realizing, I think I've said this before, old anxious attached is pretty avoidant recently. But I read yesterday that, when you're in a relationship where it's like someone's anxious and someone's avoidant, like that can't work. But unless these things. And I was like, oh, good, I'm all of the unlesses, which is acknowledging it, working on it, and a lot of avoidance. The problem with avoidant and attached and anxious attached is when the avoidant becomes avoiding the anxious, that triggers the anxious to become more anxious, which triggers the avoidant to become more avoidant. And then the avoidant becomes more avoidant. And so it's like they both trigger each other's worst qualities that detract the other one. And I'm avoidant in many ways, but when an avoidance always typically avoid reconciliation and talking about what's wrong, because if you talk about what's wrong, you get closer to someone, and avoidance biggest fear is intimacy, and so they avoid addressing the issue, and I do not do that. And so I was like, okay, good, I don't have that avoidant quality. Does any of this make sense?
Is the avoidant person doing it to protect themselves or the other person?
Themselves.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because they're scared. Avoidants are scared of intimacy, and they want any kind of and being and losing their independence and feeling like they're gonna be beholden to someone, and they're not gonna get alone time and all of these things. Like they think that a relationship is going to just strip them of their independence and their autonomy, and they also have a thing where they think that there's better people out there. They just haven't met them yet.
Yeah.
And they glamorize everyone they haven't met, and they also focus on the like when they're in a negative place with their partner, they can't remember any of the good. It's like they just rearrange their mind so that the person they're with that is needing them too much, the anxious person who is coming on too strong because they're anxious attached. And the only way anxious attached people feel better is if the avoidant person makes them feel better by like is if someone secure goes, listen, I hear you're anxious, but this is the truth of the matter, and I'm with you. Don't worry. And avoidant people cannot do that and won't do that. So the anxious attached never gets to feel better and is always going to be more anxious, and it's going to explode, and then they break up, and then they always come back together because they need each other to validate their internalized views of themselves, which is avoidant people need a needy person to validate that the world is against them and wants them to wants to take from them, wants them to be theirs, wants to capture them. And needy people need someone who's avoiding them to validate their belief that they are unlovable. So they'll always come back together. It's such a fucking it's also the book I was reading called The Human Magnet Syndrome about narcissists and codependence, which is I guess another way of saying avoidant and anxious. But anyway, my bottom was that monologue I just went on. My bottom moment was I got my first UTI over the trip. Thank you. I'm a real woman now. I was very constipated the whole trip. I literally did not poop for like 5 days. And we were eating like these rich, thick, gourmet meals. And I was just weighed down by like oil-soaked veggies. And I was looking at pictures of myself on like on the dinner before New Year's on the 30th, and Bill Maher and I and Chris Reed, Kid and Play, took a picture, and I looked pregnant in all the photos, and I was sucking it as much as possible, and I was like, what is going on? And I was like, oh my God, I am so constipated. And I don't know if the constipation led to the UTI or the UTI caused the constipation, but Noah, have you ever had a UTI?
Yeah, I have.
Does it feel like you need to shit out of your vagina and you can't?
Yes, like a constant burning pressure. That's what I have bleeding too. Yes.
And I was pissing blood clots.
Yes.
No joke.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I thought I literally was wiping and I saw blood and I'm like, is this coming from my asshole? Because I've never bled from my like pee. Like it didn't make sense that this blood could be coming from anywhere else. Cause I was like digging up my vag hole to see if it was like period blood, and it wasn't. And I'm like, it's from my ass. And then I'm like, but nothing's coming out of there. I was pissing out of my tiny pee hole blood tissue. It looked like I was like having a miscarriage out of my vagina, like in my urethra.
Did you have discharge? Did you have any discharge?
It was just like pee. Like my pee was bloody, and like not like I ate beets, but like blood. And I was just
So what did you do?
well, the thing was, it would only flare up at night, and then I would just like cry and like be like, oh, and then I would wake up in the morning and everything would be fine. And then I would still not be shitting, but I would be like, oh, it would be, and then at night it would flare up again. And then I felt like it went away. And my friend Corey that I met on the trip was like, bitch, it does not go away. Like, there's no way. And I'm like, yeah, my body just healed itself, blah, 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 blah. And then I came back to LA and I finally got to poop and I felt so much relief. And then I went to Six Flags the other day and I went with my friend Corey that I met on the trip and Chris and Carlisle and her boyfriend Chase. And I was like, I don't know what to do. And she's like, dude, go to an urgent care or just email your doctor. Do you have a doctor? I'm like, I think so. And so I emailed my doctor and was like, I have a UTI. It's my first one. I'm like, there's like bloody tissue coming out of my puss. And she was like, oh, I'll just get you some. So now I'm on antibiotics. I've been on them for 2 days and it was gone after the first pill. Like it's fine now, but I got to finish them, So that's the worst.
That sounds pretty bad.
Because I had to be in like a swimsuit and I'm just like have so much like being constipated. It sucks so much, but thank God for the fact that so on this trip I was with my lover and we enjoy a type of sex that I need to have, a douche for. And I forgot it. I brought all my toys, but I forgot my douche. And I'm like, fuck, like I can't have anal sex if I don't have that thing. And so right before we left for the trip, we were in LA for a couple days. The morning of, we walked over to the Hustler store and bought like this anal douche kit. And thank God I fucking had that because I was in such pain. I couldn't poop. We just didn't ever go to the pharmacy or anything. And I was like, it's gonna come as soon as I get on like, America, like, the contiguous United States soil.
Mainland.
Yeah. And it didn't. And then I was like, in the middle of the night one night, I was like, maybe because I know that when I use that, I can get everything out. And I was like, what if I did this? And oh my God, it saved my life. If I wasn't so good at it, I would have never attempted to do that. I would have just been in pain and waited for like a laxative to run through my system, which would have been runny and disgusting. Instead, I just squirted water up there for like, 20 minutes and got everything out. And I was like, I'm a new woman. God, it was amazing. Being constipated sucks. You feel like there's like a fucking, what's it called? A compost pile in your, like, it just feels like thick. Like there's a corpse of like
a
food.
landfill.
Yeah, there's like a landfill of poop in you. It's so gross. I felt like, I think when Johnny Cash,
Were there
not Johnny
vultures
Cash,
flying around you?
John Wayne, yeah. When John Wayne was dissected or like autopsied, they found him like 60 pounds of like shit in his colon. Like 60 pounds of compacted shit.
What?
And I felt like John Wayne.
Make my day.
Yeah. Okay. So Andrew, top break moment.
I had a good amount of tops. I would say moving in with Brenna now has been a top, but one of the tops that was kind of sad too. My mom was in the hospital the whole time we were in Florida with a UTI. She was fucking a lot.
Stop.
No. She has COPD and she had a flare up with her lungs. So she went to the emergency room the night before we went down to Florida. So the whole time she's in the hospital. There's a lot of other drama that like went down with my dad, whatever. But we don't have to get into that. My mom eventually gets out of the hospital the day before, 2 nights before we leave. So like 5 nights into the trip. 4 nights.
I'm glad she's out.
She got out.
She broke out.
They were like, ma'am, you need your oxygen. She's like, she started skipping. I don't know. She was excited to see me. So
could you go visit her or no?
I did visit her with my little brother, and it was an interesting visit because my mom's on steroids, like prednisone or something. So it's like, I don't know. I just found it weird that like steroids is for a guy to hit an 800-foot home run or to have my mom eat a sandwich. Like I just find it like those are like the two things. And my mom was like sitting there, and
what
she's
does
like,
steroids do to your mom? Like, why is that of note?
She's amped, but she also has no energy. So it's like so she's like talking, but she's also like like barely breathing. So it's like, but she has energy to talk. So she honestly, she sounded like the Godfather, like, hey man, like that was the vibe. And she was sitting in a chair, like it was interesting. Whatever. So we go to the hospital, me and my little brother, because of COVID. It was hard to like get in there. So she eventually gets out of the hospital, and I want to introduce her to Brenna, but I have to go to a hockey game that night with my dad, and I don't want Brenna to meet my mom without me for the first time.
Yeah.
So that was a whole thing about whether or not I should go to the hockey game or whatever. So anyway, long story short, sorry. My mom gets out.
Did you go to the hockey game?
I did. But Brenna didn't meet I went and saw my mom. Brenna, I was like, look, she'll meet you tomorrow. We could wait a day.
So did Brenna just stay in her room
Yeah.
when your mom came?
Huh?
Your mom came home and Brenna just didn't come to meet her?
Because she just didn't want to, like, I would have had to, like, leave her there without, I don't know. It's kind of awkward to meet someone's parent without
But
the spouse.
was anyone there, or was your mom just there alone?
No, my brother and it was a weird thing. It was a weird situation.
Yeah.
But so, which led to a fight over GPS, which wasn't about GPS. That's a whole nother thing. Sorry.
That's another thing in Attached is like couples get in fights and it's never about what the thing is. And
Dude,
it's
it was
always
so funny. I asked her where Walgreens was, and she put it in her phone, and it was like 2.8 miles. And then I realized, wait, I know where a fucking Walgreens is from my brain. But she's like, let's just go to that one. And I was like, well, let's just use my brain. She's like, well, that's only a mile farther. And I was like, well, can I use my brain? Like that was, but the fight was over whether or not I should go to the hockey game, really.
and
So,
you wanted to use your brain.
yeah,
And you weren't when you went to the hockey game.
not at all. So anyways, we made up. It ended up being great.
Good.
But my mom gets out of hospital. I go over there. It's just me and my brother. We have to go to the bank to like talk about like weird shit about like my mom dying and like money being beneficiary, like this whole like I don't know, it makes things real, you know? Like
Yeah.
and my mom wasn't able to shower in the hospital for like 4 days, and her hair is like frizzled, and my mom loves to look, you know, pretty, and you forget like a woman just wants to, even when she's dying and like and at her lowest point, she still, you know, you want to like it's like hard to talk about.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Andrew.
Oh boy. I
Yeah.
promised myself I would cry.
No, it's all right. It's so hard. I'm sorry.
So
Yeah.
that's
okay.
weird. Yeah. Anyhow,
It
I haven't
flares
bit my
up.
nails in a while. Yeah, like a UTI. So I end up even in sadness, call back. Hey, I'm drip. So
Your eyes are ham dripping. No, it's
that's
sweet.
what people call my nipples.
Are you
Ham
just
drip.
thinking about your mom in the ocean? You think about how your mom will never get to go to a hockey game again? Something
loved
she
the
never went
pants.
to in the first place.
She loved the Rangers. No, so my mom goes, will you help wash my hair in the
Oh,
sink?
sweet.
Because she can't even shower.
Yeah.
And I swear there was just a moment where I was like, my whole life, me and my mom never like, you know, because of drinking and like whatever, like we never like, when she would touch me like later in life, like rub my back or anything, like I could never hug her because I felt like, I don't know. There just wasn't a connection because I wanted her to be better for herself, and I think it caused me to be avoidant and attached. So-
Yeah, and you have a lot of anger about that. It's like, too late, bitch. I'm not saying
Yeah.
that about your mother, but like I felt that
Yeah.
way too. Of like, don't get close to me now. Like you should have done this when I was little.
And it just feels awkward. It just doesn't feel
Yeah.
like. And so
Yeah.
my initial reaction when my mom's like, "Can you wash my hair?" and her hair's like frizzled and like, you know, like really like.
That's not a word.
I'm like,
but
oh, I
yes.
don't even. Yeah, she's completely frizzled out, and I'm like, she's on the frizz, and I go. My initial reaction was like, oh my god, I gotta fucking touch my like. What is she doing asking me this? Like, and I'm so selfish, so fucking selfish, man. So, anyways, I fucking start washing her hair. And I fucking put the shampoo in and I'm washing her and I'm knowing that this is making her so fucking happy, this little thing. And I put conditioner in and I'm combing her hair. And I swear to God, like there was like a moment and like it could be like in a movie or like whatever where it's like, oh, I can help her and like I don't have this guard up because mentally I'm okay now in a way.
Sweet.
It was a lot. It's still a lot. And like just combing her hair. And then Brenna cut her nails for her. And it was like this moment of like where I'm looking over at Brenna like giving my mom a manicure. And it was just like, okay, this is fucking why relationship shit is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, I'm so happy for you. That's a lot, dude. Thank you for sharing that. It's so sweet.
Woo.
Good job, dude. This is like all really
It's fun.
Like,
yeah,
it's good closure stuff.
Yeah.
It's really hard though. So
Yeah.
Oh, that's so sweet.
But then I went to the bank and I, found out how much money I was getting. I was like, that's worth it for the hair shampoo. Okay. Jam drip. What's your top one, Noah? You see a guy die?
That's not a top one. My top one is very similar to Andrew.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. So, I talked about it on the podcast, and I had a lot of besties reach out, which was so nice and sweet. And I realized a lot of other people have a disconnection with a parent. I'm not the only one in this world. But I had been wanting to use the holiday time as a, just like an impetus to reach out to my mom and see how she's doing after not speaking to her for a very long time. And I did it. I wished her Happy New Year, and I said, can we chat this weekend? And it was really good. It was a very good conversation. And this is crazy, but I had been thinking about this for a while now, probably over a month. Like I got to do this. I mean, since the show, it was just like burning. It was just like burning my chest. Like I have to do something. I don't feel good about this. And I had this like nerve pain in the back, like in my back, like I don't know what it is, like wing or whatever. Like if I would have wings, it's where a wing would be.
Yeah.
Just like just a nerve pain, and then my shoulder hurt, my neck hurt. I've just been carrying that for the last couple of weeks. And after that phone call, it didn't completely go away, but it's like already 50% gone.
Wow. And did the
Top
phone
moment.
call feel better, worse, what you expected?
Better. Much better. I mean, I have to like think a lot about going into it. What information am I going to divulge? How am I going to direct the conversation if it starts going to a negative place? You have to do a lot of like mental gymnastics. So my mom's always been very good at being creative and house decorating. She's just so talented. She has such good taste. So I was just like, okay, I'm going to ask her for help. So it'll give her like a little bit of a purpose. I'll be receptive to that information because I know it's going to be good. And it was great.
Oh, it's so great when the pattern here is like, we can do better than our parents, not to like be like, see mom, fuck you. Like I'm going to be different. But like, that's why you have kids, is to be better than like you and to heal some of the stuff that you're not ready to, you weren't equipped to do. And like, it falls on the child to become the adult in the situation. And both of you exhibited that.
Thanks.
In those stories. So good job to both of you.
Thank you.
And thanks for sharing those things, because it's not easy to share that stuff that like can unexpectedly get you into like emotions that are uncomfortable on a comedy podcast. So I know the besties love you for it. My top moment was seeing a whale, which I posted on my Instagram. And it was, so Chris, my ex-boyfriend who I'm dating and who I honestly like, we almost broke up 2 nights before Christmas. We literally were on the phone breaking up, finally being like, we're not doing this anymore. And it was really just a bad we were going to therapy and we had a really bad therapy session, and we didn't have time in that therapy session to like put a bow on it or like just kind of put a little like even like a cork in it, and we just like were open wounds, and for us to like get through hard times we need to like talk for hours and feel really understood, and we always come out so much better, but we didn't have time, and so we didn't talk for a couple days and literally broke up on the phone, and then we just couldn't get off the phone, like, because once we said goodbye on the phone call, we knew it would be like over. And then we were like, let's just, why, like, one of us gave in and then the other gave, and he ended up going to Hawaii with me on this trip with Bill Maher. And it was just like, I don't know. I think that, and maybe I could, who knows what I'll say in the future, but I think that I have in the past like felt, because Chris was the only person I've ever dated really like seriously in this way, and like is actually an available person, the only available person that isn't a complete alcoholic that I've dated, that didn't have a girlfriend, didn't live in a different city, like he's that I thought, I couldn't have possibly got it right the first time. Like there's just no way. And we're not perfect and all of these things, and there's been issues where I'm like, I can't date someone who does this. I have all these hard lines. Like, I think that I projected a lot of perfection onto other people or like other relationships. And I'm like, I want a guy like that. Or, man, I'm looking at that guy on Instagram and that relationship. I'm like, he wouldn't do the things that Chris does in my relationship. Like, or I have like a friend. I'm like, oh, the way I get along with her. Like, if I could just like, if that could be, I want a relationship that's like that friendship, but like also with sex. And like, the thing is like what my relationship may lack in the way that I look at some of my friendships is that my friendships or people's relationships that I look at, I don't know what they're like intimately, but I do know what that's not fair to compare that. And I think that I know, but I don't fucking know. And what I did realize on this trip is that I have someone who, like, although we clash a lot on things, like overall this person is always willing to, is now I know and wasn't in the past, but is like willing to work on anything and is willing to kind of, honestly, I have the thing that I always wanted that I heard Will Smith has with Jada Pinkett Smith, which is like, you can do anything and there are no deal breakers. Like, I'll never leave you. Like, we can get through anything. And like, that doesn't mean he's not going to get upset with me and we're going to have weird moments. But we found this new way of communicating that I originally came up with Kirsten when I was in like 5th grade. We like were best friends since 4th grade, inseparable from the second we met. And we had this like shorthand speak like that we just were real. It was the first like relationship where I was like, I just don't have to be anything but completely myself. I never have to act like I'm in a good mood. I never have to act like I'm completely real. And one time we got into like a little fight about something. It was like our first fight. And we went to the Limited in West County Mall, and we were in like 5th grade, and we were looking through shirts, and it was after a fight. We had patched it up, but we hadn't actually addressed what was really going on. And so we were in this weird area that I think everyone can relate to, where you are just being really like overly like gentle and nice with each other, but you're still like laden with resentment, but you're just tiptoeing. And Kirsten and I both, I remember Kirsten might have been the first one to call me on it. And she's like, because we were looking at some sweatshirts or something, and I was like, isn't this cute? This is so cute. And she's like, yeah, oh my gosh, well, I'll try this one on. Do you want, like, what size do you want? Like, we were just being so overly nice. And
Yes.
and one of us goes, we're acting like new friends. And we just kept going, new friends. And we called out the awkwardness by saying, new friends. Because this little, like, fake, like, oh, so, like, yeah, like, do you want to go to dinner later? Like, that kind of, like, dumb talk you have with your boyfriend after you're, like, in a fight. And it's helped me so much. I told Chris about this, and he's like, wow, you guys were like funny even back then. Like, that's such an astute observation for like 5th graders. And I was like, we really were. Like, New Friends was the first like kind of bit we ever did. And now Chris and I do New Friends. And the other night, that's where we get into trouble, is when we fight, the awkwardness before we go, what the fuck is this about? Or like I'll go, hey, I'm really sorry I'm late. Like I was running late, and he's just like, it's fine. And then we're in this like new friends, like, did you call the Uber? Yeah, they're running late. Oh, I hate this app. And like, we're just having this fucking elevator small talk. And last night we got into like a little thing, and I was just like, new friends. You're new friendsing me. What's really going on? Like, I know you're upset. What happened? And it just like cut through, and he like laughed because he knew what new friends meant. It was just like a beautiful way to like cut through the tension. Anyway, I really like fell in love with my ex-boyfriend over this trip because on the way to Hawaii, he was like, I thought maybe we could go whale watching. And I'm like, I didn't even know we could go whale watching in Hawaii. Like, I think of that as like an Alaska thing. And there's humpback whale watching in Hawaii. We're in the middle of the season. We go on a private charter that he sets up, and it's just me and him on this boat, and we see a humpback whale. And they're everywhere in this bay. There's hundreds of them, and we see little spouts coming up. But you can't get closer than a football field unless you get close enough, and then they swim over to you, which doesn't happen. Except it did happen. We got mugged, which is the actual term for it. We were mugged by a humpback whale. It was circling our boat and obsessed with us. And I said on the way out, I go, he's been doing this 25 years. I go, what's the coolest thing that's happened out here? And this guy was like, the best thing is when I've had passengers like dunk their heads over and put their snorkels in, and I can hear them squealing because they see the whale like up, like they can spot the whale like in the water and not from like far away, because the water's too murky to see it if you put your head in, if we're far away from what the normal distance is. And fuck you guys, I was dunking my head in so much. I made eye contact with a fucking wild humpback whale, which I've been obsessed with whales forever. It was such a majestic, magical moment. And this whale, like, I felt connected to it. I felt like it saw me. And these whales are only there to breed and give birth. They come all the way down from Alaska. There's no food in this bay in Hawaii, like in this, channel. There's only fighting over females, which they never fight to the death. They always help each other out. They like kind of bump each other, but they'll never fight to the death. They're very gentle. And there's wingmanning. They help each other fuck. And there's birthing. And then they get pregnant and they go all the way back up, and then they give birth up there. They give birth down here, and they go all the way up with their babies because it's safer in these warmer waters, and there's not killer whales, and there's no predators in these waters, and there's no food. They're just starving to death here. And like, it was just so fucking interesting. And he put a microphone in the water, and it was just like, you could hear all the whale activity. It was like you were at a fucking stadium of how hundreds of whales just like, it was so cool. I was blown away, and it was only because like Chris knew I cared about whales, and he knows that I don't really like adventures, but he picked one that was like perfect for me. And I just had the best trip with him ever. And I had the best trip with Bill Maher and all his friends. It was just a great trip. Let's take a break, and then we'll come back and we'll do a little bit of Reddit dump. This is your Reddit dump. All right. I hope I have some good stuff. Oh, okay. So this was in the subreddit sex, and it said,
I let
my husband suck a boobie to help with his occasional anxiety before bed. I told a friend, and she shamed me hard. So this woman said that it started with my husband when I was pumping breast milk for our kid. I had a bad clog. I guess she was wearing Crocs. And he sucked it out for me. Over time, it progressed into a nightly routine. I'd finish my last pump of the day. He'd clean up, and then we'd go to bed, and he'd nurse for like 10 minutes. This helped soften my breasts so I could sleep comfortably. Eventually, I stopped producing milk, and our routine ended. Then something terrible happened. He had a loss in the family that devastated him. He had a lot of anxiety in the night and would be upset. One night, I was cuddling him to help calm him down, and he was nestled between my breasts. I could feel his breath and lips against me. He started to kiss them, and then I kind of instinctively lifted myself up, and so his mouth was aligned with my nipple. He took the sign and started suckling. He almost instantly calmed down and was able to get to sleep soon after. So this started another trend in our relationship. It often leads into other sexual activities, but sometimes it's a quick suck, and we go to sleep. I told my friend the above and was essentially shamed to hell. We are being weird and juvenile, she said. He shouldn't need to suck your breast to go to sleep. It made me feel terrible. What do you think? Do other couples have different opinions or practices? I was thinking Andrew probably would be into that.
I started salivating. I was like, oh my God, this is like, I want my binky, and it's your tits.
I mean, why can't boys? I like wouldn't hate for someone to suck on my tit like a baby, like a man. I know that's so weird, but like there's something about it where I was like, I
wonder how long
weird,
he does it for, and like, what if they have another baby and then they're fighting over the nipple?
No, this seems like a bedtime thing that like,
yeah,
and it leads to sex usually.
I love it. I think it's like romantic. I really do. I don't think it's weird. I really don't. I mean,
I think it's weird, but I don't think I would judge anyone for it.
I mean,
But
I
it's
think
weird in the sense that I don't think a lot of people do it, but I think, more people should.
I think it could be weird if he's like puts a diaper on and then like she puts fucking baby powder on his asshole and then she's like, I want my bottle. You know, that would be weird. But if it's just a guy who just needs to suck a little bit to like sucking a thumb and you can provide that, fuck yeah. You could be a manly nipple sucker.
I think so too. Noah?
Well, I don't approve of sex shaming anyone for whatever weird kink they have, even if they're wearing a diaper. But I have this,
Yeah, exactly. Same.
and
My
I know
bad.
that you do too.
I went too far.
I know it was a joke. But I have a weird like fantasy where I want my nipples like sucked so hard that they turn like black and blue. Like there's like bruises around them.
Wait,
is that weird?
You gotta do. You gotta get Avi into this.
I haven't explicitly told him this. I'm sharing it with you first, but
I think
I've
this
tried.
has got to be a normal.
You heard it here.
Fetish, like because sometimes I get my tits sucked so hard I feel like they're gonna have bruises, and so I know that they're guys like to do that, and babies leave bruises. Like it's a very just because a baby does it. And we don't sexualize children, obviously, doesn't mean it's can't also be sexual. And,
Like an adult
and that
thing.
doesn't mean it's wrong, I don't think.
Yeah, I think you just got to
Get those
ask him.
Nipples sucked till they're black and blue, Noah. You got to get it.
Okay, I'll keep you posted.
Yeah, let him know. I think you should. You split his ball sack with your nose.
Yeah, and then say, hey, baby, why don't you rough up my nips? And then I don't think he'll think it's that weird. Just be like, suck harder. No,
From
harder.
sucking them, like I feel like they'd have to be sucked like really, really hard for like a good while.
Yeah, so maybe that's what you want, and maybe he would be into that. Like you don't even know. Like
What's his favorite condiment?
Chocolate?
Throw it on
okay,
there.
there we go. Throw it on. I was saying that I was so constant because my boobs were huge in Hawaii, and I was like,
Hawaii.
I love that I say it weird. And I was saying that I was because Chris was like, your boobs, Jesus Christ, and I was like,
all
I think
shit.
I'm backed up. I was like, I got shit tits. I really ruined my tits for him. I was like, they're filled with shit. It's all the way.
You got
So I
shitty
kept being
titties?
like, I got those shit tits, those full shit tits.
Oh, fuck. My bed is here. Fuck.
Your bed is here.
Yeah.
We can end the show without you. Peace out.
Here, no, I'm not going to hang up. Here, it's fine.
Are you
Tell
sure?
them 5 minutes.
Okay, so I saw an Ask Women, the subreddit says, what's one tiny daily habit you have that makes your life run a bit smoother? I was just wondering what your guys would say, but I want to read some of these. This is obviously just women. This was actually something that a bestie wrote into me that we talked about on the show that helped them. But this person says the 2-minute rule, originally read in Getting Things Done, which I guess is a book. The rule is anything that takes less than 2 minutes, do it straight away. Writing it down and then doing it later will take longer. Love that. Someone says my kitchen must be spotless before bed. Ideally, I set the coffee pot too. Someone says I make my bed as soon as I wake up. What about you guys? Anything come to mind that you're like, oh, drinking water in the morning?
Yeah. Just making a smoothie takes less time than you think. Like, we always think, oh, we got to get all the ingredients. I just throw it in there. I started drinking them the last 2 days.
Yeah,
very
food
simple.
prep.
Food prep. That shit's easy. Dividing my clothes. Like, that was a big thing from moving to the new place. Of being
Dividing
like, I
your
gotta
clothes.
Like, what could go to Goodwill and what do I need? And you just like be like, I can't get rid of things. I have so much attachment to it. And then you're like, oh, that took 4 minutes to be like, I don't need 25% of my wardrobe anymore.
I like that.
Yeah. I don't know. Simple things like that you build up in your head.
Yes. I
You have
think
one,
that
because I think you're so efficient with your like time and stuff.
Yeah, I think that I usually am. I think that being reasonable about how long things will take is a helpful thing of like just always add on more time than you think, or just at least start paying attention to how long things actually take. I think that one thing I do now that I think is great is not doing all or nothing things. Like, and I think that goes into the 2-minute thing. Like, there are so many times that I go, I can't work on that thing because I don't have time to do it all. Well, the whole job is going to be 7 hours. Why would I ever think I could do it all in one? Like, but that's how I work. I do things in 7-hour chunks, and then I kill myself and I dread it. And cleaning your room, like, you can't maybe have time to clean your whole room, but you have time to do one, like, 5-minute thing. Put one jacket away. Put, like, one little thing. Straightening one little area can give you like a sense of it can spread much easier, and just not doing things in increments and not being so obsessed with perfection and having all or nothing. And I think that's helped me a lot.
'Cause I want it all.
Or nothing
at
all.
all.
That's how I live my life. Okay, this is from Today I Learned. Today I learned there's an 18% average mortality rate for catch and release fishing, with the rate varying significantly between species. So on average, if you're doing catch and release and you feel like a fucking hero, almost 20% of those fish, 1 in 5, are going to die just because you caught them in the first place. Good to know, I think. Because I think people just go, oh, we're such a good person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with that. I just feel like they're probably going to die pretty soon anyways.
What?
Get eaten by a
They'll
whale.
get eaten.
No, that's not how it works.
How do they
What kind of
track the
fish?
fish? Like, all fish look almost exactly identical. How do they know which fish and how long
Because
they live?
they're experts.
What did they send
guess.
out a census?
And they probably are like,
Census.
I don't know, but you guys, just it's good to know. Don't pride. Just no one should fish. I always feel bad for fishes that have their like. It's traumatizing to have a fucking hook in your mouth. A lot of times you can't get it out. You have to rip. Like, fish feel pain, by the way. So anything you're telling yourself about fishing and how it's like, oh, I'm not keeping it. Like, well, then you're tossing it back in. It's gonna die. And I know it's gonna die anyway. But so are all of us. So should we just all hook ourselves in the mouth? Like, no. All right. This is from Ask Reddit. What's your I fucking hate this song?
Thong song?
Mine is Moves Like Jagger.
Wait,
I don't.
what
Ooh, moves like
No,
Jagger.
but what's
What
the
is your
question?
I fucking hate this song?
Oh. Yeah, I hate that. I mean, that one song, somebody I used to know went from good for
Go
one
TA.
day to the worst song I've ever heard in my life.
Oh,
I don't know
someone
why.
said the TikTok song, oh no, no, no. Oh no, 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 no. That one.
I don't know that one.
I don't like that song, Let the Bodies Hit the Floor. You know that
Oh
song?
my God. I feel like I would describe that as the only kind of music you listen to.
Unless it's your nipples
Like, that would
and
be
really
my-
hard.
That's so funny. Fancy Like by Walker Hayes. I don't know that. Fight Song. People are saying Fight Song a lot.
Oh,
I love
Fancy
Fight
Like-
Song.
Fancy Like's terrible. It's this new country song. I'm going to Applebee's on a Tuesday, on a Wednesday, getting drunk with my friends on a Thursday.
Oh my God, everyone's saying Fancy Like on this Ask Reddit.
Yeah,
I'm an
it's-
island
it's
boy.
terrible.
People hate that song. That doesn't count. These don't count as songs to me. Fight Song. Why are people saying Fight Song? I love that song. This is my fight song.
I liked it until that.
Someone said, oh, haha.
Sounded
You know
like
the
a whale
TikTok song
underwater.
that's like, oh no, no. Oh no, 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 no.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, no. Yeah, yes.
Yeah. Shape
Yes,
of
yes.
You and Baby Shark. I'm in love with the Shape of You.
I love Shape of
People
You.
hate that song. I've heard that a lot.
They,
Wow, people sing Fight Song because it's the cancer anthem.
oh. Wow.
Girls Like You by Maroon 5. I kind of like that song. All right. God, it's all the same songs. It's so funny. All right.
It's the ones that are played the most.
Final thought.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right. But no, there are some songs that are played a lot that I don't mind,
Yeah.
I guess. But yeah, you're not wrong. This was True Off My Chest. This was from the subreddit True Off My Chest. I threw a Christmas party a week ago and no one other than my mom showed up. A few of my coworkers offered explanations when I asked about it the next time I saw them, but no one else even gave me an excuse. It sucks too, because I spent more money than I should have on the decorations and food. Then spent the night staring out the window waiting for guests, only for no one but my mom to show up after I called her crying about it. The whole thing hurts more than I can ever admit. Oh,
That sucks. I mean, what were their excuses, I wonder? I mean, did they say they were going to go? Like, why did...
that makes me so fucking sad. And we've all been there of like just feeling like no one cares and we're being left out and like trying too hard, like getting dressed up for something that no one else cared about, or like it's just such a lonely feeling. I'm sorry for
I
anyone
had the
who felt
opposite
it.
happen. I had the opposite.
Too many people showed
Wait,
up?
you didn't have a party and everyone showed up?
Well, I had a party and too many people showed up. And some of those people, like I had spent so much money on like cold cuts and like this is at a time where I had like no money, but I really like wanted to make it a nice party for people. And people came in and they put like their cigarettes out on the cold cuts. It just like went totally out of control.
Oh my God.
And I had a similar feeling at the end. I felt so like violated.
Interesting.
So
It
maybe
goes both ways.
the silver lining is she didn't have to clean up all the shit that would have happened if
Yeah.
people
She had to
showed
clean up her decorations that were not even used, and like all the food. It's such a lonely feeling for people who don't have
Yeah,
friends.
if you-
And
if you got
don't
a
have
cake or
friends, it is
something,
not your fault. It is a lucky thing to have friends. Like it's just you're in the right place at the right time. Some people like live in areas where everyone sucks, and you're there because of what. Like it's not your fault if you don't have friends, especially if you're listening to this podcast. You're cool as fuck.
have us.
And I really mean that. Like you can't enjoy this podcast if you're not like someone who's emotionally intellectual. And maybe I'm patting myself on the back, but I just believe that to be true.
I think like I bring it back so other people could enjoy it.
What'd you say?
Like I'm not that emotionally like
Yes, you are. You
intelligent.
cried on the show today, buddy.
No,
Sorry.
never happened. Never happened.
Oh yeah.
You cried. Also, can we talk about Larry David tomorrow to tease it?
Oh yeah.
'Cause-
I mean,
Don't talk about
I
it
was
now.
going to talk about just how that party thing reminded me of. I'm watching Arrested Development again because on the trip I was with one of the
Attorney blah blah blah.
I was with one of the writers of Arrested Development who wrote the first season and subsequent episodes with Mitchell Hurwitz, and who was the creator. And he was like they met on the Golden Girls staff, and then Mitchell started created Arrested Development and wrote with Jim Vallely. Like they two wrote it, and his name's Jim Vallely. And he's amazing. He's like the best guy ever. I love him so much. He's so funny, so cool. I got all my Arrested Development questions answered. And I'm going back and watching the first season with Chris, and we're having so much fun. But that party thing reminded me of like just Lucille Bluth, the mother, the matriarch. She's having they have a surprise party and no one is there constantly because all of her children like hate her, and like everyone on the show is just detestable and hilarious, but it's such a fucking great show. And I can't believe I know one of the creators now. It's just or like one of the main two writers.
Makes me
of it.
think that show is like if Succession had more of a sense of humor.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. And I even said that Lindsay Bluth, Portia de Rossi, reminded me of the girl. What's her name?
Oh, not Stu.
God, Shiv.
Stu.
Is that right, Shiv?
It is Shiv.
God, that
It
reminds
is
me of a joke from Arrested Development where the father is in prison and he says, I'm worried about in the showers. Like I could get strangled or something worse. And Buster goes, or like stabbed, and he goes, in a way. Or something like that. It was so good. I just love that show. It's packed. It's
so
chock
good.
full of jokes, and like you can watch it over and over. And like I've seen this season 4 times and I don't remember things. Like, it's so nice to have a bad memory for stuff like this. So much more to talk about, including a run-in with Larry David and more than a run-in, a hangout with Larry David, private jets, whale watching,
Oh my God.
constipation, Six Flags, and much more this week on the Nikki Glaser podcast. Don't be out there. And
Jackson Hole.
Ooh.